Hey guys, welcome back from Russell Games. I just wanted to share really the only video you need to see about Silvanus. This is the new self-printing version of it. As you can see, it's kind of plain white looking, but everything really stands out. And I'm sure in video you can't really tell as much, but the colors are very vivid. You can tell them apart. A problem with the last version, some colors like the purple and black looked very similar, so that's been fixed. This is I'm going to show you a one-player version of the game, which will play the same as the two-player version. This is actually the short version where everything's cut in half. So you have half of a deck of each of these action decks, and you actually will have a maximum of 4 Hallets here, rather than up to 8. So what I did is took 2 of these are enemy decks, 2, 4, 6, and 8 levels. You take out the level 6 and level 8 out of the deck, and it makes the deck half. And I want to show you a round or two of the game so you have a really good idea how to play. I won't show you setup right now, but this is set up and ready to go. This little deck here is all the characters. Like I said, we'll give you each a different ability you can use during the game, as it says. But what I'm going to use them now for is as pawns, basically, because if you remember the other videos, they had little wooden, they look like beetles, which are supposed to be spiders, that you mark each deck you cover. But this, you just take the backs of these and mark where you go, so until it's full for the first round. Works nice that way, because obviously during the game you're only going to use 2 of these, so might as well put good use to the rest of them that aren't being used. Alright, this is my health. We call it the stack deck. As you can see, you have a health of 8 right now, represented by the legs. This is how many items you can hold right now, so I can hold 4. But some weapons are powerful items that one weapon might take up 2. So that'll be marked in cards. So to start the game right off, I'm going to have to draw any Tetherland card that's shown up in a round. I must start with that. So I would draw this. In the save time, I'm not going to go through all this, but and it says happenstance right on it, which you throw through the rules to see what happens during the game. We have these nice colored rules for the final version of the game, which I don't have here, but these have symbols in the cards, what they mean, and happenstance right here. And what would happen for a happenstance card, you take 1 Hallet, shuffle them randomly, and draw one of the icons, and it will tell you a certain thing that will happen for the whole round. Usually they're not very good. But like I said, we'll skip that for now and pretend, okay, my second turn, I want to mark that I went here already, so I can't take from this pile anymore. I'm going to go ahead and take, this means acquire offense. Take a weapon, and that deck's done. So I'll put that by my player. I can use that later and mark it. And then I'll go ahead and do my first encounter. And I see it's an enemy level 2 ladybug. I'll go ahead and put this out so the viewers can see. So what this basically means, it's level 2. So I will only need 2 decks instead of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these away. And leave 2. Now the reason why you see 4 here, this will be my deck. If you notice, it has kind of a parentheses border. And this is what would normally be the second player's deck. It's kind of a straight parentheses. And of course, there's 8 colors in the game. I want to use the same exact colors. This is the deck I'm going to be working with, the hallet I'm going to spin. This will represent the enemy's basically sequence of attack. So this is level 2, it's ready to go. So what I will need to do is shuffle these, flipping them and shuffling, either not looking or behind your back or whatever you want. Put it down on top of these 2 decks. Do the same with the other. And I'll go ahead and flip these around so the viewers can see. And coincidentally, they're both ladybugs, which it's a fine. And what I'll need to do is this is what is called an encounter, is take this little deck of 3 cards, which as I mentioned in other videos, is like dice. It has 6 sides. Each card has 2 different sides, and each set is different. Each player's set is different. So, as you can see, there are 4 cards out here in this untimed mode. And so I'll have 4 what are called spins to match this. So I can flip one deck once and the other 3, or both decks 2, or however you think it'll work. At the beginning of the game, you won't really know what's under your spiders here. But as you go along, as long as some of your decks don't get shuffled and things, you start to remember what's where. So I'm going to try to match this before we end this video by doing 4 flips. Now, keep in mind you can flip the first card, first, second card together, or all 3 together. That's how you continue to do it. There's no cheating like shuffling or looking through it. So if I flip, let's say, the first 2, now notice I saw what that is, which is just fine. And we'll notice that's not correct. There's 1. If there's some way you're going to mark how many turns you just did, you can use these little cards as marks. I did 1, and I get 4. I'm going to go try the whole deck. 2, there we go, 1's matched. 3, and we did it in 3, even though we had 1 more chance left. So that's great. We take this, put it beside our stat deck to show that we succeeded, and we haven't been hurt at all. The point of the game is it's cooperative. Of course, if you're by yourself, it's not cooperative, but you just want to survive through the decks. Or there's a point system. Each enemy you defeat successfully is a point. And kind of like solitaire or whatever, you just want to beat it or see how many points you can accumulate per game and keep getting more and more and doing better and better. Now, of course, since I had this offensive item here, I could have used that, and it would have been discarded. To discard items, you put it back in the deck it came from. It should be here and go in the bottom, and no one will ever see it again, because once you get to the last card of the deck, which happens to be this card here, the Sunset on Sibikai, the game's over. But if I did use it, which normally I probably would have, basically I would have won this for free because I can win without matching 2 Hallets. Now if I had 4, obviously it'd be a little different. But if I use it, I discard it. Now if I had a defensive weapon, obviously I wouldn't be able to use it in this battle because this is an offensive. Alright, so that's basically all I wanted to share to introduce this version of Silvanus. And I hope sometime you guys can check it out or check over the files.